Okay, so let's just start. We're gonna go around the room. We'll start with Jennifer. Jennifer, do you want to just tell everyone your name, the presentation that you have for them today, and why you chose to teach on the thing that you did?
My name is Jennifer Burba. I am teaching how to cut and assemble a party banner or birthday banner. I chose that because I felt like everybody has a birthday, so it would be useful to everybody rather than being seasonal. I actually, when I started Design Suite, I started doing stickers, but then my oldest daughter became pregnant, so I decided to do party banners for her baby shower, and I just fell in love with doing party banners. It's a lot of fun. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Oh, so good. The pictures for it so adorable, and I know Jennifer, you posted also directly in the Facebook group, so you guys can see it. Tiffany.
Hello, good morning, y'all. My name is Tiffany Hawkins. I am from Louisiana, and my presentation is about creating a spinner card using your Cricut or any other kind of electronic cutting machine you may have. I love making cards. When I first started the program, had a hard time figuring out what I wanted to focus on. I'm a crafter, I make all the things. So, but I really love giving cards. And cards can be, fun to make. And, the response you get back when you give out a nice card to people is what I love. So I designed the spinner card and people seem to like it. I gave it to a couple to my nieces, and so that's kind of why I decided to do cards. Just love making them. So
Yeah, Tiffany's not messing around when she talks about her crafting. I've seen her like going through her little stencil file case. She's like all these stencils, and she's always making so many cards. So thank you, Tiffany. These spinner cards are really, really cute as well. Like I've never made one before, and they're so, so fun. Vivica.
Good morning. I'm Viveca Renee, and I'm going to do a presentation today about making a mini art journal. And I chose that because I'm like a lot of the people who are on here, you've been crafting or making or something for a long time, and I have a huge stash of art supplies. And it's one of the ways I found that I could actually use up a lot of those papers and, little things that I have laying around, and it just makes a fun little book to give as a gift, or to just, for your own pleasure to be able to create something in a short amount of time. So that's why I chose that.
I love it. And came to us with like lots of great drawing skills. She does like Zentangle and some other cool things. So I think you guys are going to love this journal that she's doing with you guys today. So why a design business or an art business? Why even bother with this, you guys? Because you know that you hear everywhere that the market is saturated, that it's hard to do. What was in your heart to make you decide that a design business or an art business was for you? And we'll start with Vivica on this one.
I would say that for the longest time, I was just doing my art and crafting for myself or, family members. And I really felt like I needed to do something more and, share it with the world, because I think we all have this innate creativity that needs to be shared. There's, something out there for everyone, and they may not like specifically what I do, but there's somebody out there who does, and there's somebody who likes whatever we as artists or creatives put out there, and we have an audience. We just have to find it. And so your course has really helped me see that that's important, and that I can do that if I just put the effort in.
Yeah. So did you, just as a follow-up, but did you always know you were going to do like a design or an art business?
No. I knew I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what. And when I saw your boot camp and I did the boot camp, and then I was like, wow, this might actually be something I could do. And so that's kind of what got me motivated to get started with it.
Jennifer, how about you? What's your background? Like why a design business?
Well, so back in 2006, I started sewing doll clothes for my daughters. Uh, just because, a lot of the stuff that was out there was really expensive. My mom actually taught me how to sew when I was like 8 years old, and she actually helped me make one of my prom dresses. So I started with doing the doll dresses, and then eventually I got into the vinyl stuff. And I started finding that what I wanted to make wasn't available. So I started creating my own designs for some of the shirts, and I did a lot of custom work. In 2014, I had a miscarriage. And so that kind of, I stepped away from that business for a while. But then I joined a direct sales company, and I got into graphic design marketing through that. And I loved doing the social media graphics for that business. Um, and then in 2021, my husband passed away from COVID. So that really kind of just turned things upside down. And I knew that I had to figure out something for income for my kids once, Social Security stopped coming in, and the life insurance money was not going to be enough to sustain us for long. So I went back to my crafting background, and I said, I guess I'm just going to start this back up, because it was really successful and I loved it. And then I found Design Suite. And I felt like I needed that little push. I loved the idea of the community aspect of it, because that's something that I loved about the direct sales business that I had, just having that community surround me and help me progress even farther.
Yeah, so good. And you have had such a hard go, Jennifer. Like, it's kind of crazy how many hard things happen to you. And look at her big smile. She just like keeps going. It does feel like a lot of it is about attitude, like, and just going after what you really, really want. And every time she talks on Marco Polo, she always talks about how wonderful her life is now. And it is very, very inspiring. Oh, I love it. Okay, Tiffany.
Well, I actually have a bachelor's in graphic design that I earned, that was over 24 years ago. And I was unable to find a job, locally. Back then. Graphic design wasn't really a popular like job option. I would have had to move to a bigger city or something like that. And I was getting married. I didn't want to move. And so eventually I went back for my master's in human resources, and I've been doing that ever since, about 20 years now. And it's just the creative side just always been pulling me, and HR, I love working with people, but I wasn't able to be creative in it. And so what made me start my business the last couple of years was, my children were getting older, they didn't need my attention as much. I have teenagers. So, and then I said, well, maybe they'll see me working hard, something that I want and desire. Maybe that'll teach them, how to go after what you want. And also, when my mom passed a couple years ago, of cancer, she was so young, and there was things she wanted to do, that she wasn't able to do. And I was like, well, I'm not getting any younger, so might as well go for it and try it and at least start. Once I can retire, then I'll have something going for me. But I always loved crafting, and I kind of started off, once I got my Cricut, that kind of snowballed into everything else. I started getting back into, junk journaling, art journaling, painting, using my Cricut for vinyl, making cards. But I just knew that I had to do something. And whenever I make things for friends and family, they'd be like, oh, you should sell these, sell these cards or sell these shirts. And I was like, but I work full time. I don't have time, to make things to sell. And so I just started posting things on Instagram. And then, I was looking for local communities. So I joined like a couple of local scrapbooking crops. And the ladies there were like, you should put your stuff out there on Instagram and like join some design teams. And so that kind of stuff kind of inspired me to start, posting my cards and things that I would make out there. And, when I saw this program, I was like, this is exactly what I need. I started in affinity designer because I also love to design, with the graphic background. And so, but once I saw your program, I was like, okay, this will give me the boost that I need to keep going with it. But so yeah, that's kind of my background and why I started. I didn't want to put it off anymore, you know. Figure
Yeah.
why not now.
I really love that. And then the story about your mom. And because I do think a lot of us put things off. Viveca's in retirement. Viveca, you want to talk about it a little bit? Because sometimes people are like, I'm too old. I can't get started. And that is, I mean, I think that's completely not the case. But Viveca, maybe you should address that.
Yeah, I would agree. Initially you think, oh, this is a young person's game, but it's really not. I mean, you can do, I feel like if there's something that you want to do and you put your mind to it, you can do it. I mean, that's why I've always worked throughout my life, whether it was when I was, I've sold different things all throughout, my career, even when I was teaching, always had like a sideline thing. But once I retired, I was like, okay, I've got a lot of time that I don't necessarily have to fill up, but I don't do well if I'm not working or doing something productive. And so this has been a way for me to feel like I'm, eventually going to be able to really contribute to our retirement. And I enjoy doing it. I love it. I mean, I'm always wanting to learn something new and try something new. And um, Design Suite has given me opportunities. I mean, there's so much information there and things to learn that you can do to sell your art or your ideas. I won't ever stop learning, and I want to keep going. And so this has been a great experience for me to be able to have that community and then have access to all that information, that's quality information, and be able to apply it and use it in my business.
Yeah, it's so funny because I think the mindset that we're behind, first of all, like that whole like I'm behind, because here's the thing, I've felt it as well, or that I haven't made it yet. Those two things, it's very interesting because I had that mindset even at the age of, I remember I was 39. I actually had two pretty successful, first of all, the design business, but then Mini Lou was also a physical product, so pretty successful companies. And I still felt like I hadn't made it. So you guys, I just think that is like the human condition to be kind of like, oh, like I'm still not there yet. And I remember, and this is so interesting, but at the time I was kind of following a lot of business owners, and one of them was Donald Miller, who I talk about once in a while. I like his stuff, but he didn't really, he was a writer and he was pretty successful as a writer, but he didn't start his education program until he was 47. And then he kind of like went off and he had like this huge following. And it was so fascinating because I was 39 at the time and I was like, wait, he's starting something at 47. And then I started looking at the stats and it was like, oh my gosh, some of the biggest, most successful people didn't start stuff until they were 65 and 62, and some of them 70. And once you start really researching it, you realize it's a lifetime of experience and work before you hit the success. And I think that is really profound because I think I see a lot of business owners who are like 22, you hear about them, the 22-year-olds who make millions of dollars and create these monster businesses, but that's the exception. More of the best business owners and the most stable ones are the ones that contribute via experience, and they're doing it in their 50s and their 60s. And I think that's a really profound thing that most of us don't see or realize, which is pretty cool. So I love it. Okay, so I want to go over three things with you guys, and let's do the first one first because it's the most not fun. So you might want to think on this. What has been the worst part, like the part you're just like, I hate this so much of owning a design business? Because there are lots of things, you guys, about owning any kind of business, but a design business in particular, there's like some things that are really maybe not even difficult, but you just hate. And I think we need to go around and talk about these because it really helps to know what to anticipate. So maybe we'll start with Tiffani on this one.
For me, probably a lot of other people as well, is the production. You just want to sit and create and design, and production is the hardest part. And especially for me, I barely have enough time as is to design. You don't want to take out your design time to try and do production. But if you don't ever put it out there, then, people will never see your work. And so that's been rough for me. And I wouldn't say I hate social media, but I'm an introvert. So this has been, I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's been one of the hardest things, like coming on here and, doing videos and speaking. I can be behind the camera just fine. But, being in front of the camera and having to put yourself out there has probably been kind of hard for me. But I'm here to push myself, and see what I can do. So, but those are probably two.
I think Tiffani is not alone in those two things. I think it's so interesting because as creatives, we want to spend all our time on implementation, ideation, making this stuff. So going to production and sales is always the hardest because production just feels real dry, just so dry. And then social media, time and time again, it is very frustrating that there's even this medium out there that we kind of all have to contribute in. But the ironic thing is it's also the most free way to market, which is so difficult. Jennifer, what do you not like?
I agree with the production, specifically writing the descriptions and setting up the preview pictures and all that. That's where I always get stuck. Like I have plenty of stuff that is ready to be listed except for those specific places. That's really the only struggle for me. Like social media, I've been doing that since I did the direct sales business. And actually even before that, the direct sales business is what got me in front of the camera and comfortable in doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, so really it's the writing the descriptions and getting those previews ready to go up on Etsy.
Yeah. So true. Not fun. I hate writing descriptions to this day. I still every time I'm like, why am I doing this? Viveca?
In the beginning, it was learning Illustrator.
Yeah.
It was just, I was like, oh, another thing I have to learn. And as far as the technology goes, and it was not super intuitive, but now I kind of love it. I didn't like it much at first, but I'm with Tiffani and Jennifer. The production part, it's not that for me, it's not, I don't hate it. It's just not my favorite thing to do, but I've learned, or set up some, production, gosh, what am I trying to say? I've got my layout of how I do it. And I've been using AI to help me with my descriptions. That helps a lot because that takes a lot of time, and that using AI has helped a lot to make that go faster. So I've kind of got my method down. That was the word I was looking for, of how I want to do everything. And now that I've got that down, I don't dislike it so much. It's like, okay, this is how I'm going to be able to make money. If I get my stuff up there, that's how it's going to work. And so I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah. Viveca, you're so good at that because you really have built a process for yourself, because in the short amount of time you've been doing this, which a year and a half, not even, you've been doing this, tell everyone how many products you have up.
I am 18 away from 500. So
yeah. Like
yeah.
That's like the power of process, because your volume really does grow, which is pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Viveca has done an amazing job.
And that's just in my Etsy shop. I have probably 200 and something in my Creative Fabrica shop. So
yeah. And that is the other interesting thing. A lot of people will come to me and they'll say, well, I don't know if Design Suite will work for me because, I see your designers only have a few sales. And I'm like, takes 3 to 5 years to build a design business. If you're looking at first-year designers, it's really just about getting those volumes up and really doing market research, which is what we teach you about your own products. And that it just takes a while to get going. Furthermore, the number of you, I know Tiffani's like this, have enough side business. Like Tiffani will be doing cake toppers and personalize everything for people that is freelance work. So we have so many designers who they start in one place and they end up in freelance. We have some that end up in actual jobs. We have some that have manufacturing deals. And so it really, a good designer actually usually has 4 or 5 multiple streams of income to make it all happen. So it takes a little bit of time and it takes a lot of effort because you've got a lot of things going on, which is pretty darn cool. Okay, best part of being having your own design business. Like, what is your favorite thing about running your design business? Jennifer, we'll start with you on this one.
I feel like that's a harder question to answer. Because I love, I had a little bit of a background in Illustrator before this, but I learned a lot and I'm able to do so much more in Illustrator in creating unique designs. Like my daughter, who I'm actually up here in North Dakota visiting her because she just had the baby, meeting my first granddaughter. But she wants to start a crochet business. So I asked her if I could make her logo for her. And I actually was able to create a ball of yarn from scratch with shapes because of what I learned through Design Suite and how to work in Illustrator. Before that, like my stuff before Design Suite was really elementary, I guess you could say. And so I love how much I've learned and how much more that I'm able to do with my design work and creating stuff that looks real, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to
Which is
say.
going to matter here, especially with AI kind of infiltrating in, like developing your own style and not keeping it elementary, right? Because when you're at this elementary design level, what happens is you're competing against everyone else. The moment you start making it more intricate, more your own, the more likely you're going to be able to sell products. I love
Yeah.
that.
And I'm not using clip art anymore. It's all generally uniquely mine. So
Yeah, I
which
love
makes
that.
it so much more fun.
Yeah, so fun. Tiffani, let's go to you. I don't even know what order I'm in at this point. I'm just like,
I think over time, I probably really enjoyed making things that made people happy and excited to have it and to use. I think that's part of what I loved working in HR so long was, doing things to help, the employees and help others. So I think, because like when I got a review in my Etsy shop, a lady said, how much she really appreciated the help I gave her, making her personalized cake topper, even creating it in the color she wanted. And she just seemed so generally like happy that I did that. And I was like, oh, you're welcome. It wasn't a problem to do. And so I think just making things that, makes people happy and, excited to use and seeing your product, out there, people actually using it. Think that's kind of what I found that I love about it.
yeah, I think that is real. Like that is so real. Because anytime anyone makes something of mine and I see it on social media and they tag me on, I'm like, oh my gosh, you took the time. Here's the funny thing, for all these years I've been doing this, you guys, and like seriously, hundreds of thousands of downloads. I'm still like, does anybody make anything with my stuff? Like you're like, because you never see it, right? So
Yeah.
I love that that lady really came back to you, and that it really does make it a lot. That it makes it worth it, right? Because you kind of feel like, oh, I contributed to someone else's life, and they're just really grateful for this thing that I did. I love that, Tiffani. Viveca.
I my favorite thing, or the thing I've liked the most, I guess, is just being able to develop my style a little more, because I was kind of I've kind of been all over the place always, because I was always taking classes and trying to mishmash together the things that I learned. But the thing that I've found with Design Suite is that I've had to really be intentional about that, and so that I can stand out a little bit. And I don't want to look like everybody else. I want to do me and put products out there that look like you've said before, like you can look at it and go, Tiffani did that, or Jennifer did that, or whoever, in Design Suite, that's their work. And so that's been a lot of fun for me. And and one of the things I was thinking about is like I when I started out, I was doing a lot of flat SVGs, and you said something to me about you really need to do maybe some 3D or something that's not just the flat thing. And so we did the card makers, or where we did the 3D shadow box cards. And I absolutely love those things. And they're so fun to make. And they're so impressive when you get finished. And so I've got a bunch of those up in my shop now. So it's just fun to see, what you can do with all the different things out there as a designer. It's hard to narrow it down sometimes because you want to do everything. But when you find the thing that you love, that's where you got to go and stick with it.
Yeah. And Viveca is so right, because and you guys will see this on my business presentation, like niching down is like so hard, so good, but so difficult. And finding the thing that's right for you. Because here's the thing, you kind of start on a path and you find yourself being like, I'm not sure if this is the right path. And you have to deviate. And it feels very much like we want it to be A to B, and we want it to be this straight line, but it just really isn't. It's just this roundabout journey, and you're kind of going around the mountain trying to decide what's the best path for you. You don't know if maybe you should be sailing across the lake to get to the point, or driving around the mountain, or taking the train, or maybe taking I mean, everybody's journey is a little different. And so all you can do is take the actual things that you have to do, and find that path for yourself. And everyone's is a little bit different. Now, what I would love to end on with you guys is I would love for you guys to talk more about the classes and why you decided to teach on what you did. Now that you guys have heard about a little bit about what they're doing and how they're doing it, if you guys have it available, I did not pre-warn them about this. I feel like Tiffany's in her craft room. So she always has all kinds of stuff with her. And Jennifer might not, because she's in North Dakota. But if you guys have anything you want to share, like stuff you've made, stuff that will inspire them, even from your shops, I would love for you to share. And maybe we'll start with Tiffany on this. So, because I know she's been doing a spinner card series.
Yeah, let me see. I had it right by me. Yeah, this is the spinner card that the class will be on. You guys can see it. But basically, you have your items that spin when you twist it, and it's on. The secret is the clear fishing twine that it twists on. So you can also use like these leaves for different items. You don't have to use it on the spinner card. And also for the All Access Pass members, I created a matching envelope. It has the inside flap that you can put in, and it has this little cutout that you can use as well. So that's kind of what my class is on. And like I said, I love making cards and giving them, and if you're a card maker with your traditional inks and things like that, you can always use like your inks and, jazz them up a little bit, ink blend on your cards, that kind of thing as well. I also have in my shop, I do stencils. I have layering stencils as well. So this is kind of goes in the same theme. The leaves on here, I don't know if you can see the different layers, but with that stencil, you can do the leaves, and you can also coordinate and put like the leaves on the inside from this card. So that kind of thing. I also sell, see the layering, I don't know if you can tell it's layered, the thinking of you. So I sell sentiments as well, cutouts. So yeah, I kind of try and coordinate, blend things together that you can use in different ways. You can also use the cutouts and the sayings if you scrapbook or, any kind of other paper projects. So that's kind of what my class is on. And I like doing all those things. So
Yeah, Tiffany, you need to show them the spinner, because I remember Tiffany got on Marco Polo and showed us this first, like, because you twist it up and then you
yeah.
close it into your envelope. And then when you open it, yeah, show everyone how that works. Because when I first saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a cute idea. Because you're like, oh, how does this really work? She's
playing
twisting.
with it so much, but you twist it so you feel it kind of getting a little tight. And my kids been playing with it. So, and once you close it and, you pull it out the envelope and they open it up. Let's see, that's what it show. It kind of spins. So, my kids have been playing with. It's kind of loose
Yeah,
now.
it's like tight and taunt, like when you twist it. The first one she showed me, it like just like went, and I was like, what the heck is that? So
Yeah, so I have a bunch of different, different ones as well in there. I have an Easter one and some Christmas ones. And so, yeah, they're really fun to make and people like them when they receive them. So,
is your main place an Etsy shop? Tiffany, you want to tell everyone
yeah, my
the
main shop is an Etsy shop. My business name is The Crafting Alley and it's crafting with a K. And on Etsy, I'm a Crafting Alley SVGs. So, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I'm trying to play with TikTok, all those different things. So, yeah.
All right. So a crafting alley, you guys, if you were
Yeah.
looking for Tiffany, go check that out. There are links directly on the presentation page today that's open for 24 hours to go ask her questions, go visit her shop and check out her freebies that she has for you. So awesome. Thanks, Tiffany. Jennifer, we'll head over to you.
So I do have one thing that I made for my granddaughter here that I could go grab, but I also have pictures if I could share my
Yes,
screen.
absolutely. I think you can. I
Okay.
think you have access to.
Okay. Let's see. I don't know the
It's
okay.
down at the bottom of that green share button.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I should just share the whole screen and click
Yeah,
on
do a
them.
whole screen. That's what I always end up doing you guys always end up seeing everything on my desktop. So
So
cool.
these are some earrings that I made. They were for my daughter's cheer team. I designed the Reaper and everything myself in Adobe Illustrator and then used my laser cutter to cut them out and then kind of painted inside the name. I made this ladybug design with all the different ladybugs and embroidered it onto a laptop case for my daughter who's going to college. This is a little onesie. Like the tulips are my own design and I digitized it and embroidered it on a onesie for her. And then these are some of my stickers that I made for my daughter as she goes off to college. It's a little folder full of gift cards and pictures of the family for her to look through. And then let me see if I can get to, and then this is the logo that I just made for my daughter. Can you guys see that one?
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Okay. So that's what I've been up to recently. And yeah, and then I did the birthday banner. It was actually good timing because when I was preparing for this, it was it was one of my daughter's 7th birthdays. There's so many kids, I don't know how to like differentiate them when I'm talking. And then I also made banners for my daughter's graduation party. And then of course the first banners I made was for my oldest daughter's baby shower. So
Yeah. So good. And one of the things we try to emphasize is that you should be always like everything you make should have purpose. And Jennifer totally is great about that. The fact that she's like, oh, I'm doing this banner for this class, but also I'm actually using it. That's really the way it should be, you guys. Like we shouldn't be making stuff just to make stuff. Like we should be making stuff that we actually use or have like another purpose. And that's how a lot of like especially design businesses aren't doing that. They just do the one thing and then they're not getting all the things done they really should be getting done because they're not double purposing everything. And we even do that in Design Suite, you guys know, with classes. Like we expect you to take the artwork that you make in classes and turn it into something, then you actually start selling it, because what's the purpose of making something unless we're actually also selling it, which is pretty cool. So I love that. Okay, Viveca.
Well, I'm not gonna share what I did in the video because I give examples at the end of it, so I don't want to spoil it. But I do have one of the little cards that I made just this week. And so, it's the little 3D card. And what I like about these is not only can you make the card, but if you wanted to, you could frame it, or you can, and I was thinking about this, anybody can take these elements that are in there and do something else with them if they wanted to do a different kind of card, or use it in some other design, they would be able to do that. So I just love these. They're, the little vignette look with all the things is it makes me happy.
I love it. It looks so good. You've been doing a lot of those cards recently,
Mhm.
a ton of them. So are you putting those in your shop, Vivica?
Oh yes, they're there. It's all
Yes.
seasons, happy birthday. And I'll plan on doing a lot more.
Yeah, I forgot to do this with Jennifer, so we'll do it with you right now, and then we'll go back to Jennifer.
Okay.
Can people find your stuff? Tell them where they can find you, like your Etsy shop, your Instagram, and all of that.
It's Viveca Renee Design is my Etsy shop, um and my creative fabric shop is also Viveca Renee Design. But I'm on social media as VR Chenoweth Art is my name on that. But that's where you can find me.
Yeah,
Most things in my Etsy shop.
and Vivica, you have a freebie for everyone. Is that correct?
Yes. I have the template for the little mini art journal and some elements that they can cut out on their Cricut or what other cutting machine that they have to put in the actual journal along with the pages. So yeah.
So good. Go check her out. Go check out her Etsy store. It's pretty. I mean, you guys, a year and a half and having 500 items that's even high for design suites. Like that's kind of like over the top. So even though I push everyone, it's pretty darn incredible. So go check it out and see what she's doing. It's pretty cool. A lot of times too, like when you go into Etsy shop, you see an evolution. You definitely see mine. Like if you go into my Etsy shop or you go into my silhouette shop, if you go at the very beginning, you're like, oh, versus what I do now. And that is meant to be, you guys. Like I think people get really perfectionist, like they want their shop to be all perfect from the get-go. That is not the way it works. It is not. And thankfully, most design suite members believe me when I say that, and they're willing to just go in order to get their stuff up. So Jennifer, will you tell everyone where people can find you?
Yes, I have an Etsy shop. I have 3 now.
That happens a lot.
I have my digital designs at Burba Designs. I think it's Burba Design Studio on Etsy because Burba Designs was taken. And then I have Saw Stitch Studio, which is my physical products. My husband is a woodworker, so there's no woodworking stuff in there yet, but it will be in there. And then that's why my sticker sheets and my banners that are all made to order if you don't want to make them yourself. And then I have A Doll's Life by Jenny, which is where I'm going to put all my doll clothes. Right now, I just have one. It was my most popular, which is a custom made Irish dance dress based on the ones that the girls go to the feshes in, the really fancy sparkly ones. Those are always fun to make, but they take a lot of work. But that's all my doll stuff will be. I am on Instagram and Facebook as Burba Designs. And my other 2 shops do also have Facebook pages, but they're linked to Burba Designs as well. So I think that's everything.
Yeah, I would recommend go get their freebies because that will connect you up with them. And if you want to see more of what they're doing, that's the best way because, right, if you can connect up, get their freebie, they're going to be sending out stuff probably monthly or quarterly, letting you know of the new stuff they're coming out with and what they're doing. These 3 are just at the beginning of their journey. And that's the coolest thing to see how much progress, all the cool things they're already doing. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me and saying hi to everyone and telling everyone about what you're doing. I would love to leave it with if you know of someone who has always wanted to have a creative career, not even necessarily design career or a design business on their own, but just do something creative for themselves, what advice would you give them? Let's start with Viveca on this one.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I
That's
was
okay.
reading the chat.
That's okay. I know the chat's going. What kind of advice would you give to someone who wants to start a creative career?
I would say just do it. Find a program, or this one is great. But find
It's not
something
for
that
everybody,
fits.
right?
Yeah, it's not.
You need to choose the one that's going to be good for you.
Right. Find the one that's right for you and just do what they tell you to do and take the steps. It can be a little bit scary in the beginning, but once you get going, it's just so fun. It's so satisfying and really, it's just a lot of fun. I would, if I was going to do anything in retirement, this would be it. I should have been doing this a long time ago. But I love it. I love being able to design and create and put something out there that somebody else might like. And I was thinking about what you said earlier about how our style evolves. I look at some of the stuff I did in the beginning and I was like, "Ooh, this is not that good." But I can see how much better I've gotten just because of doing it so much. And some of my simplest designs are the ones that sell the most, which is really crazy to me, but it's exciting when that happens. So yeah, just do it.
I love it. Tiffany, any advice for creatives getting started?
Yeah, the same thing. I was going to say the same thing. Just get started. Even if you have limited time like me, I work 40 plus hours, still try and go work out, cook, and keep the house up, but make time for yourself. If it's really something you want to do, don't put it off, and invest in yourself. I had to buy a computer that will run all the programs, and, I bought courses and this and that. And, um, you know, even if you feel like, well, I can't afford it, but you have to get started eventually. It may never come to where you might really can't afford it, but just get started and it'll make you happier, because of it. And even if it takes you a while to get to where you want to be, at least you started, and, it won't take as long because you did it start. Um, yeah, so.
I love it. And guys, just pay attention. These three women are in totally different places in their lives. Tiffany works full time. Viveca is retired, and Jennifer's like in the midst of grandbabies and traveling and sending kids to college. I don't know if you're working right now, Jennifer. Are you?
No, not currently, but I do. I mean, my youngest is 3, so I have like all the age levels. So
Yeah.
from 3-year-old to college to having babies. That's
Yeah.
where my kids are at.
What advice would you give people?
Definitely the same. Just one step forward and go for it, because you never know what life is going to throw at you. Live in the present, because the present is all you have. Yesterday is yesterday. Tomorrow, there's that quote that tomorrow's never going to come, because it's always tomorrow. So live in the present and just go for it. I've actually taken that advice myself, and I have started a bachelor's degree too amongst all of this, because I really want to make sure that my family is set for the future, and that retirement is around the corner. I have remarried, and my husband, he's about 7.5 years older than me, so he's going to be ready to retire before I'm ready to retire. But I also want to make sure that not all of the, bringing 10 kids into his life, I feel like I have to have some kind of, I can't think of the word, contribution myself, because, those are biologically my 10 kids, and I want to make sure that not all the pressure's on him. So.
Guys, 10 kids, working full time, retirement. I am telling you, like I think this is the coolest thing about getting into a creative business, is that really the sky's the limit. You just have to make the decision that you're going to do it. But I love, yes, you're in the present right now doing what you want to do. And there's never going to be an easy or great time to do it. That's the thing that even for me, as we have moved forward in our businesses, in my own design businesses, it is fascinating, because I'm like, there's never an easy time to do it. It's just deciding you're going to do it, which is pretty darn cool. I love that Jennifer's doing a bachelor's degree. We're very hopeful that she will come into our master's degree program at the University of Arts and Design. And Tiffany is in our fall first cohort for the university. So that's exciting as well. You guys, thank you so much for joining. Can I get like hearts and thank yous, you guys, in the chat for these women joining us and telling you their stories, because they really are doing amazing things. Even though we were talking a little bit about Design Suite, what we're really talking about is women's lives. And everyone's a little bit different, but yet we're all the same. We're all looking for that creativity and fulfillment, and that's really, really powerful. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to push you off right now. If you guys want to give a wave and a goodbye, thank you so much, you guys. So amazing.
Thank you.